My name is Justin Mills. I'm from Mesa, Arizona. So I've known Jesus my whole life, and there's been parts of my life where I just got lost, and he's always been here. Like I could feel him tugging at me, but I wouldn't listen. I felt I was in control of my life, and I had it, and like I wasn't really listening. But when I got divorced and my dad died, I went downhill on drugs. My drug use was one of my biggest struggles. My dad died, and me and my dad were just getting back to having like we weren't didn't have the best. He was my stepdad, and my dad was in and out of prison his whole life, and I was introduced to drugs, not from him, but people he knew and people I knew from a young age. From the time I was 15, I started with cocaine, and then when I was 17, I started with meth, and then I've tried every drug out there except for heroin. It's the only drug. When my ex-wife, when I walked in, after my dad died, I walked in and caught her in bed with one of her coworkers, and then I told her if he ever were to spank our kids again, that there'd be, we got in a big fight, and then after that, she just left with my kids. Didn't know where they were. So I went to drugs more, and then thinking of my dad not being here, and I was angry at God, and there's times I tried to go to the cemetery and dig my dad up because I was angry. I didn't want to know why, and I didn't know why, and I'd just go more into drugs, more into women that I didn't need to be around, and I would be codependent on women and drugs and not on God like I should have been. So my ex-wife and my dad, that was my fault. I was clean for 6 years before that, and that just took me out. I missed my kids. I felt like I was missing a part of me. I didn't want to get divorced. She was telling me that she just needed time because of the drug use and everything, why she was moving him in, and I didn't know how to cope with it. I felt like my mom and my sisters were on her side. Every time I tried to talk to them, and then find out the whole time that my mom and my sisters seen my kids every day. And that's why the reason my mom kicked me out is because my ex-wife told her, if you want to see the kids, he has to be out of the picture. And that hurt me too, and it made me angry. And so I resented my mom. I was resenting God. I was resenting my dad, my ex-wife, him, because I knew him. And I had to learn that holding on to grudges for people that are dead, you didn't need to. I had to learn to forgive people. God had to take me through all the trial and error, the drugs, the people I did, to humble me and to teach me to be more loving and understanding to women, to men, to just everybody. Being in a place where everything's dark all the time, and I was at the point with the girlfriend I was with before this one, where I was gonna kill myself. Like I was done. And God sent this dog out of the blue. This puppy just run up. I was about to just shoot and be done. And I tell you that I think that dog was my guardian angel, because from the time that dog came to me a day before a storm, the day that dog died was a year after I was clean. He died on the day of a storm. When this lightning hit, I felt it deep inside that the dog was gone, and that part of me was gone, and that God was there, and it just took so much relief off of me, off my shoulders, that I didn't realize it until then. I didn't realize what God was doing in my life until then, until that day that I got baptized. It opened up my mind to a lot of things and what He's doing. Even when we don't see what He's doing, He's always working. He's always got you. And you just got to keep that faith and understand that it's not up to us, it's up to Him. His timing is always perfect. When my last daughter was born and she was taking my CPS, I got angry with my ex, and I told her, you need to do everything you can to get right. And I'm still sitting here, she's clean, and I'm still doing drugs and being a hypocrite. And God's still there saying, hey, come on. And then when I held her for the first time, I denied my daughter. I held her. I denied her 3 times, just like Jesus told, was it Peter, right? Tell him, you'll deny me 3 times before the crow, and I like, and then that third time when I held her, and I seen my oldest daughter, and I was like, it's like God was giving me a glimpse of, look, you have kids, you can do this, but you can do this with my help. You're not going to be on your own. Because the devil kept telling me, you're not a good father, you can't do it. Stay what you're doing. Stay what you're doing. When I held her that last time, I looked at her eyes, I started crying. I gave it to her mom. I told her she's not mine. Her mom left and she's mad, and she's like, why should I let you move in? Why? You hurt me more? And I like, because I don't know how to be as a father. I don't know. It's been so long, I don't know if I can be a father. And then I just prayed that night, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I said, God, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to have my mom think that she's going to get a phone call that I'm dead, or my sisters to resent me anymore because I put so much responsibility on my own kids and take away from their life on them because I just did what I wanted, and then after moving out of that situation and being homeless in the spot I was living at out there in Maricopa in Hidden Valley, I told God, I said, I can't. Either I'm going to die and then that's it, or I need your help and I don't want to do this anymore. I need you. I can't do it on my own. And then after that, they answered me. I was trying to get a job, and everywhere there's this sign out front of Desert Sun Heating and Cooling. We're hiring. And I wouldn't go there. I went everywhere else to get a job. And every time I'd get an interview, nothing happened. After a month of that, I was like, all right. I was driving by and this sign lit up again. I'm like, turn back around, went aside, talked to Joe, and then Jose, and then I was like, so you work on cars? I'm like, no, but yeah, because I didn't want to do it no more, but that was my background, and he's like, okay, well, I could start you at this, and you could start next week if you want. I was like, all right, cool. So I started doing that, and then when I started my job at Desert Sun, I wasn't sure how it was gonna go because I've always been able to get a job, been able to stay clean, but then as soon as something goes wrong, I run. And to see how he put me in the people's life that were like leaders and role models, and to see how they worked in our church and everything, and I would talk to him about certain things, and I talk with Isaac all the time about things with the Bible, and I seen Jonathan playing the guitar, and I went to his office and said, you didn't tell me you played the guitar, man. And he's like, I don't. I'm like, why are you lying? He goes, I'm just playing. Yeah, I play the guitar. I'm like, so I started watching the every Sunday, right? And then I was like, I feel like it's time to get baptized. And then I was talking to Jonathan's brother, Isaac, and he's like, hey, we're doing baptisms on Sunday. So I did it. And me and him got baptized on that same Sunday, and his brother and his wife are the ones that baptized me. And after that, dude, since I got that job there, I've been clean for 2 years and 5 months now. When I decided to get baptized, God was just, I don't know, it was in my heart, and it's just like, I've been baptized before 3 times. Because every time I got baptized, I went downhill further. It's like the enemy just attacked me more and more. And that time, I just felt so much peace in my heart. That's how I felt. So that was just like a connection. And I never felt that. Like I've never felt like this warm sensation through my whole body with goosebumps and everything. And I felt light on my feet and just happy. I've never felt that happy in my life. I was just like, it's time. I know. So just from that day forward, I gave him my life. Everything's just from the pit bottom that furthest you think you could go. I was way past that. And then God just picked me up. Started taking me in the transformation through my work to this. And then like today, I take my test for my CDL so I can start operating the crane at work. So my footsteps and what he's taking me in life and my pay and my job and everything is just been going up and up and up, and it's all on him. If anybody asked me how did I get here and I said it was because of me, I'd be lying. Nothing was because of me. It's all because of the grace of God. A week after I started going to Passion, I got into serving in the front as greeter. And let me tell you, that feeling of greeting people and then just having so much energy to show love towards people, and even if they're having a bad day, they're not looking at you, you get their attention, you get a smile out of them, and then you see the whole demeanor of them change. That just makes my day so much. It's amazing. And then watching my stepson, I was going to a Real Men's Night, the first year, and he's like, hey, let me go with you. And I was like, all right, come on, I'll wait for you. And to see Coach John, Miss Johnson Scruggs, on stage, he lit up. He's like, that's my coach singing. I was like, yeah. But she's like, this is awesome. And then, so now he wants to start helping the kids ministry. Then my oldest daughter wants to help in the kids ministry. And just to watch how Passion has transformed my life and then see it through my kids, there's no better feeling than that. Being in church my whole life, I've never felt the love or the connection with the people I've felt in my life when I walked through those doors. And that day I knew that I was supposed to be here, that I was supposed to be rooted in this church. And God has just been my money, everything, when I gave from me and everything that has to do with me, my finances, everything. I moved from a fifth wheel into my own house that I'm renting. My kids finally got their own rooms. I got my kids every week, and my oldest daughter, after 8 years, we're in contact, and she lives with me now. And now I get to see my other 2 kids that my sister has custody of every week. So God has blessed me in every way, and for that I'll always be grateful.